It is a pleasure for Boutique Mice Business to have the opportunity of interviewing today Mr. Martin Kleinmann, CEO of Absheron Group of Hotels in Azerbaijan, as well as President of Azerbaijan Hotel Association. Good morning, Mr. Kleinmann. How are you today?
Good morning, Irene. Thank you very much for having me. I'm great. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here too. So, sir, please, you have over 20 years of experience within the hospitality industry. You have the expertise, the know-how, and could you please describe your role as a CEO and how do you get where you are today?
All right. Well, it sounds good. 20 years. Actually, it's already more than 25. And as you can see, time didn't pass, without any impact. No, but it's been great. Well, how do I start? My grandmother ran a little bed and breakfast in Austria. So when growing up, we obviously spent a lot of time there. That means from early childhood, I was, kind of exposed to her business, having guests around, and then while growing up, eventually I also helped. I suppose that's what you do in family, and then spend time with guests and kind of enjoyed it. However, after finishing high school, I actually was meant to become a lawyer. So I tried that. I went to university, but realized fairly quickly that that's not for me. It's interesting, but it's somehow, you're more confined and it's more dry. I needed to be out. I needed to be with people. So I quit university and I started an apprenticeship in my hometown, and that's basically how I got into hospitality. Worked myself from the grounds up. I remember the first month I wanted to quit every day, starting in the laundry and then moving to housekeeping, the kitchen, like really every single job throughout the hotel. But at the end of the day, this is, I suppose, what I'm meant to do, or was meant to, and I never regret that decision. Obviously, a driving force was to have the opportunity, to be with people, to meet new people, meet new cultures, nationalities, but in essence also to be able to work anywhere in the world. I suppose tourism hospitality is one of the few industries or sectors where basically there are no boundaries, there are no limits, and that's what I did. After the apprenticeship, I went to the US, worked some time in the US, got back for a short stint to Germany, worked for one of the best hotels there, and then from that moment on, through India, Bahrain, Egypt, Istanbul, China, I eventually landed here in Azerbaijan in 2014. So it's 6.5 years. I worked for the last 12 years for Marriott International, was a GM with Ritz-Carlton in the countries that I mentioned, and then was heading here the JW Marriott. And then, after 5 years, when I was supposed to move on, the investor of the JW Marriott, the owner said, look, why don't you stay here and look after all our hotels? And that's what I do since January 2019. So CEO of Absheron Hotel Group. I think it's one of the leading hotel groups here in Azerbaijan. We currently own 10 hotels. Two are managed by international hotel companies. Maybe I explain a little bit how we got into hospitality.
Yes, please.
So in 2012, this is kind of where the first international event happened in Azerbaijan. It was the Eurovision Song Contest, and for that event, you needed a handful of hotels. So our investor built 2 hotels, but having no knowledge really in hospitality, decided to have those hotels managed by international companies. So that's the Four Seasons and the JW Marriott. And then with the country developing and focusing on more international events, we started to build more hotels. In 2014, the inaugural European Games, which is the comparable of the Asian Games and this kind of fun stuff. We built 4 hotels. understanding a little bit of how hotels are managed by professionals. So we built 4 hotels, but we knew that we're not ready at that stage to operate them independently with our own brand. So we engaged again with an international operator, but with franchise. So we took over management, but we managed the hotels with a brand backbone, kind of the standard system and processes, and basically learned along the way. And once we kind of mastered this, if I can say that, then we started to bring our own brands into play. So we have 4 hotels that we manage our own brands. 3 are here in Azerbaijan, and 1 is in Bodrum in Turkey. What we also do is we provide consultancy and advisory services. So we have a beautiful luxury hotel in Cognac where we give our consultancy services. And we have the Shaftak Tourism Complex where we operate 2 hotels in the mountains in a ski resort where the government owns also hotels, so we provide consultancy services to them. So that's what we have at the moment. We have 3 projects in the pipeline. 2 are here in Baku. 1 is, again, a luxury hotel that we will have an international company manage. The second one, we're now going into select service. We will operate, again, under a franchise agreement. And then we're developing a hotel in Tbilisi in Georgia, our neighboring country, because our aim is clearly not to focus entirely on Azerbaijan, but also expand a little bit internationally. Our clear goal is to become the leading hospitality company here in the region. We start with Caucasus and see how far we go. So Georgia, one of our key feeder markets, is clearly where we want to be represented. We're in Turkey. We're looking for other opportunities in Turkey. Let's see how that goes. Obviously, the last couple of months, put things a little bit in question. So we have to see how the situation develops and how we progress. But exciting times.
Well, it's absolutely interesting that, as you explained, there is no boundaries, there is no limits, and you do not only provide a whole portfolio of world-class hotels, you also have the people, the ideas, the infrastructure, and the management services, which is required at these days to have professionals such as yourself, Mr. Kleinmann, to advise all those entrepreneurs that would like to take it to the next level. What about your MICE offer? What can you offer to the business tourism coming to those strategic locations where you have your properties up to date and the new ones that are on the pipeline? How will you incentive, how important is the business tourism? And tell us a little bit about your MICE facilities and services that Absheron Hotel Group has to offer to this community, please.
Well, I mean, one thing that I think is extremely good for any customer that wants to travel to Azerbaijan. And I have to say, Azerbaijan is a very new destination, a very new MICE destination, but extremely well equipped. Azerbaijan has, from an infrastructure perspective, everything that you could possibly ask for. We have an incredible new airport. We have exhibition facilities. We have a spectacular convention center that is state of the art. We, as a company, our portfolio of hotels is so diversified. So we have, clearly group or large event hotels with 800 rooms in our Boulevard Hotel. But then we also have, very small boutique hotels for smaller groups. So kind of what we can provide is really anything that a customer basically would want. But I have to also be honest, for us, it's not entirely focusing on our company. For us, it's really to bring Azerbaijan as a destination on the global map. And that means, we can't just focus on ourselves. We might be a little bit ahead of everybody else, but then in essence, unless the destination is uniform, operating on international standards, is transparent, we don't see us to be as successful as we want to be.
This is interesting because not everybody has the knowledge about the destination of Azerbaijan, and this is one of the main points that I would like to transmit to the international audience, how this unknown, in brackets, markets has all the facilities, the infrastructure, the service, and the personal touch that Absheron Hotel Group is making sure to input, and obviously luxury services and personal keeping an eye on detail, which is very important. Tell us a little bit about how would you like to see Absheron Hotel Group of Hotel grow within the next decade? How would you like? What would be your priorities on your agenda for the next couple of years, sir?
Well, I mean, our company didn't really grow strategic. I have to be honest. It was more following the strategic vision of the government here in putting Azerbaijan on the global map with attracting international events. Just like I mentioned, Eurovision contest, the European Games, but now we have F1. This year was supposed to happen the Euro 2020, where again 4 games will be in Azerbaijan. So it clearly kind of shows that the government is extremely active, putting infrastructure in place and promoting the country. And we participated in providing facilities. Now, what our aim or my aim is, consolidate and kind of streamline and give the company more of a company culture. Obviously, grow. That's clear. In our business, we have to grow international. I mean, you asked me for the vision for 10 years. I think it's very, very long. Especially, if I look at it, I don't.
It's very long, especially in these days where something unexpected can happen. Yeah, like what we are all going through. It's like expect the unexpected, and 10 years it's the future. So let's talk about immediate plans. Your priorities for this year at least.
The immediate plans are clear. I mean, we're fully supporting the government in their efforts to fight this pandemic. So we have made some of our facilities available for the government. We're hosting doctors and nurses for the last 2 months in our biggest hotel. So we have about 700 of them that we look after. And as time progresses and as the lockdown eases, we've started to open some of our restaurants, not hotels. So in 2 of our hotels, we started to operate restaurants, and we're now focusing on slowly, safely, and sustainably reopen all our hotels. At the same time, the government with the tourism board and the state agency of tourism, which are the government body here in Azerbaijan, we've helped them to develop a program which is called Sahman, the Azerbaijani word of immaculateness. It's a nationwide campaign that focuses on our industry. That means the hospitality, accommodation sector, food and beverage, restaurant, catering providers, but also transportation providers, to really give them a guideline on how to operate, ensuring hygiene throughout the country. It's a program that was endorsed and supported by the World Health Organization. So it clearly shows that we want to operate on the highest possible and international standards. And in order to ensure transparency, we're working with one of the big 4 consultancy companies to ensure that they are auditing and also certifying the process. So that's the immediate work that we're focusing on. Clearly, that requires a lot of training. Azerbaijan is a very young industry, or a young country when it comes to hospitality. So we're trying to improve the educational programs, working on hospitality, vocational schools, and obviously within our company, we're putting a lot of efforts in developing local talents here as our industry is growing. So this is kind of the immediate plan. Obviously, we need to see what is happening around us. I mean, first we need to get our affairs in order and things under control here in the country. We're staying in touch with our key feeder markets. The tourism board, extremely active over the last 18 months, established 6 representations globally. It's in the Middle East, in Asia, but also in Europe. So we're, maintaining contact with our partners in order to keep the dialogue, see and understand what questions they have in order for us to, adapt the way we do business.
This is important: social responsibility, training, as well as helping others in these days, which is crucial for the socioeconomic development of the country, the region, and the world. You mentioned your F&B facilities, which is extremely important as well for the business travelers, taking into consideration that those can be seen as venues as well. As you said, we are in a moment where group bookings will be reduced, and company presentations, conferences, business events will be taking place in this type of venues, using the restaurants, the cafeterias, the lobbies as a working place for reduced group of business travelers. So tell us a little bit about your F&B offer. You have a Michelin star chef in one of your restaurants. Tell us a little bit about, in general, about Absheron Hotel Group culinary offer for the travelers, please.
Yes, I mean, similar like our portfolio of hotels is extremely diversified. We translate that in everything that we do. That means in terms of our F&B offerings, we also offer an extremely broad range that goes from, as you said, a Michelin-starred chef. We don't have the Michelin guide in Azerbaijan yet, so that is obviously something that we're working towards. So you have from haute cuisine, fine dining, down to the basics. I think what is really important is that we stay true to where we operate. And I also believe that a lot of our customers and travelers, when they come to a new country, really want to understand their culture. And dining culture is something that is extremely important. So we really offer everything that you could possibly ask for. In particular, also our national Azerbaijani cuisine, which I think is amazing. What obviously now will change a little is the way F&B or food and beverage restaurants operate. Clearly in the short and medium term, a lot of it has to do with social distancing, hygiene. We clearly focus on that. Buffets, I think, is something that should not really be part of the offerings at the moment, but eventually, we work towards going back to, a kind of a new reality. Breakfast, clearly the most important, and I can tell you
every day.
Azerbaijani breakfast is to die for. It's a meal. If I go for Azerbaijani breakfast, I'm done for the day. The variety, the local produce that is available from cheeses, the honey, the herbs, it's unbelievable. And look, I can talk about it. At the end of the day, people have to come and experience it firsthand. Fresh baked bread, tandoor. You don't get me started.
So Absheron Group of Hotels are not simply an establishment. They are not properties. They offer the hospitality experience. And you do have a unique selection of diversified hotels. And I would like to please, each property has their own charisma, personality, and distinctive competitive advantages. Let's go a little bit through your hotels from the ones in the ski slope to the most luxury in Baku to the destination at the beach. I mean, you kind of cover all the needs, not only for business travelers as well as leisure or even leisure travelers. Let's highlight the main competitive advantages of your properties, please, Mr. Kleinmann.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'll start in the mountains where we have two hotels, Peak Palace and Park Chalet. Like the names already kind of suggest, Peak Palace is a more luxurious product, right on the slope, so it's more or less ski in, ski out. Has great banquet facilities, so for social events or for group business, MICE business, a great alternative in the mountains. Park Chalet is you can imagine a little bit the chalets in France, or if you look at Colorado, a lot of wood, a little more homey, with a great rooftop grill restaurant, amazing views, right opposite Peak Palace. I think that's the characteristics of those hotels up in the mountains. And then here in the city, we have Boulevard, 800-room hotel, the largest hotel in the region, extremely big banquet facilities, right on the water, great spa. So it's a combination of you can do business, but you can enjoy things at the same time, because you can stroll around the boulevard. You see the beautiful Caspian Sea, and you have all the facilities. We have great restaurants. We just opened in January a Chinese restaurant, very authentic. We have Indian cuisine there, and then the international multi-cuisine combined with Azerbaijani cuisine. We have our Interist. Interist is going back to the old Soviet brand Interist hotels. It's built on the same location. The outside looks like the old Interist hotel, but the inside is top modern. Again, amazing view. Bang on the Caspian Ocean, small boutique, 150 rooms, a great terrace where you can spend all day outside. No banquet facilities, so it's more the trendy design, hip hotel, more focused on leisure, but beautiful small little spa. Cuisine that goes throughout the Soviet countries. To kind of represent, the history of Interist and the former Soviet Union. And then when we move into the city center, that's where we have Dinamo Hotel, 28 rooms, very, very small, very exclusive. I mean, designed from top to bottom by Alberto Pinto. That's where we have the Olympia restaurant with our Michelin star chef. That has, outside kind of show kitchen, so you can see the chef while he prepares. You hear how the food is sizzling. We also have a beautiful terrace. So a lot of the things here in Azerbaijan happen outside. The climate is so fantastic that pretty much from mid-April until the end of September, or if you're lucky, mid-October, you really spend time outside. Not too hot in the summer. You have a constant light breeze. I mean, life happens outside. Our newest hotel that we opened in March this year, not ideal from a timing perspective, but is in the heart of the city. It's in an old historic building that used to house the Caspian Shipping Company, dates back in the 1900s. Small, 63 rooms, a beautiful bar, restaurant in an atrium. So the building or the hotel is comprised of about 4 buildings. There was an inner courtyard that wasn't really used. We put a nice glass dome over it, and now that became the heart of this restaurant, focusing on local cuisine with an international and modern twist to it. The interesting thing is you have a street entrance for the hotel, but then there is a pedestrian road right to the Fountain Square, the heart of the city and near to the old town. And you have access through a beautiful hallway, lined up with interesting books like a library, right into the heart of the hotel. So that's what we have here in Azerbaijan. In Bodrum, we have a spectacular. Sorry. I forgot.
Don't be sorry, sir. You shouldn't be sorry.
We have a beach resort. We have a beach resort. We have a beach resort. We have a beach resort on the northern shore of the Absheron Peninsula. That's the little peninsula that is sticking out. Baku being on the south. Our hotel is on the north. I mean, beautiful private beach. We have a water park there. We have, the hotel's not very big, 176 rooms, but we have 14 beautiful villas, 3-bedroom villas where, people like to spend the summer in privacy. We have great banquet facilities. We have 2 ballrooms. We have a outside venue for all sorts of events. Car presentations are happening a lot, summer parties, once that becomes into fashion again, or safe and possible. And then in Bodrum in Turkey, we have another beautiful beach resort, very small, very boutique-y. It's called Allium Villas. 39 rooms that are in 6 different kind of villas where you have 5 to 6 rooms. So either you only book 1 room, or if you want with a small group, you book the entire small villa. Beautiful beachfront, seaside, extremely great food. We have Italian, we have obviously Turkish. Turks are very proud of their food. I love Turkish food. I mean, thinking back of my times in Istanbul, we went to Bodrum at least once a month to just get out a little bit and enjoy what a beautiful scenery. So that's about our hotels. I mean, you
so it's definitely that Absheron Hotel Group aims to become the leading the leading hospitality group. Not luxury, because as you mentioned, you have the choices, you have the different options. So clients that goes for business have their own audience. I mean, what I'm trying to say is that each of your hotel has its own audience. It has its own innovative concepts, and it all target the same, which is attract more business to the markets, and keep on delivering extraordinary service. I was going to ask you, how do you stay ahead of the competition, but it's not necessary, because you mentioned all the major competitive advantages that definitely differentiate you from the rest of the properties within the market.
Well,
at least
I want to add a little bit to it. I mean, in essence, one thing is fairly easy: build beautiful hotels. But just building a beautiful hotel doesn't make it a great hotel. So in essence, it comes down to the people. I think Azerbaijan is incredibly lucky, and I feel extremely fortunate because the people have that natural sense of hospitality, taking care of people. There is so many young, hungry talents out there that really want to learn. They know that their natural instinct is to look after guests, and if you feed them with a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of experience, then they strive. That's one. But the other thing that's also extremely important is listen to customers. A lot of times people make the mistake that they think that they know what customer wants, but in essence, unless you ask, you don't really know. It's a guessing game. So we're not in the gambling business. So for us, it's extremely important to listen to customers, take their feedback. Obviously, we're working with international companies that provide us information on customer trends, travel trends, other important information, and we combine that in what we do.
This is important because you are also the president of Azerbaijan Hotel Association. It is the voice of the industry. It provides communication, trainings, is an advocacy. It's please tell us about Azerbaijan Hotel Association, all the benefits that it brings to its members, and obviously the contribution that it has towards the development of the market itself and the hospitality industry precisely.
It's a very young association. Was inaugurated in December 2018, and I feel very honored to be the president since February of last year.
Congratulations!
Thank you, thank you. It was a bit. I had to think about it, but not very long. Starting a new job in a new company, but then also starting a new association. But in essence, the goals are the same. And like you said, our aim is to become the voice of Azerbaijan. Our aim is to unite hospitality in Azerbaijan. It's the first time that there is a dedicated association for hotels. Before it was more an industry-wide association, but with the changes in the government structure to promote tourism, we've also decided to separate. So we have an association for travel agencies, we have an association for tour guides, and then one dedicated for hotels. For us, especially now, and that's where Absheron Hotel Group comes a little bit into play. We have a lot of experience, and I know that there are a lot of small hotels out there that are in the regions that are operational, that are operating seasonal. So very difficult to some extent. Lack the basic knowledge, and that's where we come into play. We want to help. We're an open book. We share anything that we know. Now also working through the pandemic, obviously we've prepared a very comprehensive plan on how we adapt or adjust our operations to the situations, and we pass on whatever we do with everybody else, because at the end of the day we're interested that every hotel in Azerbaijan is operating on the same level. The advantages for becoming a member or being a member of Azerbaijan are clear. Again, it's a lot of very small hotels where, how do you market yourself in somewhere in the regions in Azerbaijan when you have 20, 30, 40 rooms, you can't really afford to really represent yourself. So being part of Azerbaijan Hotel Association, you're represented at the biggest trade fairs that are globally. So that's one. The other thing is that again, we provide best practices, we provide training classes, we provide also consultancy services, but we also established working groups where every hotel can become an active participant of that working group, where we discuss problems and how can we improve the business environment for hospitality here in Azerbaijan. And then we bring that forward to the government. We have a very strong and close relationship with the State Agency of Tourism and with the Tourism Board, and have already seen that a lot of the things that we raise are being heard and being implemented. The other thing, what Azerbaijan Hotel Association is, focusing a lot, especially now predominantly, is, helping the government in implementation of the Kleinmann project, but at the same time, being part of HOTREC, the European Association of Hotels, Restaurants, and Cafes. Mm-hmm. We open up a variety of information and benchmarking that go beyond Azerbaijan, but really focus on Europe. And we're working on our own national star classification. So with becoming member of HOTREC, we also joined the Hotel Star Union that operates a classification system in 17 European countries. And
17 European countries, wow.
Correct, mm-hmm. Correct. And we will adapt the same standards as they have in their country, so that hopefully within the next 24 months, we will have all the hotels here in Azerbaijan certified, and then basically can proudly say that if a traveler that might be a little bit concerned about what is Azerbaijan, what can I expect, that he can easily and comfortably say, if I book a 3-star hotel in Azerbaijan, it is operating on the same level in terms of facilities, but also services like a hotel in Switzerland, Austria, Germany, you name it. So this is something that we work for, that, people really understand that Azerbaijan, a country that you might not know so much about, is operating on international
standards and meeting the requirements of those special clients that visit the markets. What would be the biggest change that you would like to implement during your leadership, during your role as a president of Azerbaijan Hotel Association? What would be your biggest challenge that you would like to put into place?
Well, again, the goal is clear. We want every hotel in Azerbaijan to be part of our association and really represent the entire industry and not just parts. That's one. And basically help all those small entrepreneurs, small, medium enterprises to really be successful in their business. Looking at the standardization system that we are implementing, we also want to use that to assist businesses to get government support. We're working closely with the government. Tourism is one of the sectors or industries that has, been, named a priority for Azerbaijan. Oil and gas is very dominant, but now focus on agriculture and clearly on tourism is on the government's agenda. If you make tourism and hospitality a priority, it also means you need to support the growth. And so, in essence, what we want to do with the standardization system, we want to see that as a benchmark, that when businesses say, okay, at the moment I'm on that level, but if I create those facilities, implement those services, then I can improve my level within the classification system, and that the government would acknowledge and accept these measures as one of the activities that would get a subsidized loan or some sort of a tax support. So in essence, we want to not just control hotels, no, but we want to help them to grow sustainably in their business. So that's part of the goals that I have, and clearly to make sure that Azerbaijan is known all over the world for great hospitality
and great people and great services and great infrastructure and great food and fantastic breakfast.
All right.
So, how do you see the development of the business event industry in Azerbaijan? Like the MICE industry, still need a lot of a bit more time than general tourism. It is a new way of traveling. It is, as you said, inputting the incentives which will mix the business and the pleasure at the same time. But how do you see the development of the business event industry in Azerbaijan, sir?
Well, I'd say potential is tremendous. One of the things that I said when I arrived here is that I've barely seen a destination or a country that has so much potential, and that has not changed in the last 6.5 years. Things are now moving in the right direction. They're moving a little faster. Clearly, it is a very new market. It is, to some extent, an unknown market. But we have clearly seen over the last 2 years a lot of interest and a lot of demand, in particular from the MICE business. And now we kind of have to see how the industry develops further in terms of group traveling again and all of that. I think it just takes a little bit of time. In the meantime, we make sure that we stay in touch and we communicate. I mean, we share people what we have to offer, and I know that it's just a question of time that people will come and travel because they want to explore new destinations, They want to see something new, and I think Azerbaijan is perfect for that. We have from an infrastructure. I repeat myself, but it's just because it is so fantastic. We have everything that the industry needs. We have great services around it, and we have possibilities to really mix the business part of any trip with the leisure. So much culture, so much history.
And facilities, and this is important. How do you think this devastation with the whole world has been going through this economic and health crisis, Martin? Please tell us a little bit how do you think will be if it's going to be difficult to bring back customers, business clients after this current health and economic crisis? Is it going to be difficult to bring people back to Azerbaijan?
Look, I think one thing is great about our industry, and I think one thing has not changed. People want to travel. People want to explore. And if you look at certain trends, where there are countries where the lockdown starts to ease, you see a lot of traffic online where people start looking for flights, people start looking for hotels, people start exploring where can they go. People want to travel. The way they travel in the short and medium term might change. The duration might change simply because a lot of people have been going through an extreme hardship for the past couple of months. That means, available cash is limited. But I think people will travel, and it's up to every destination to ensure that they present themselves in a way that people are comfortable to travel, and that's what we are working for here in Azerbaijan. When you look at it from a geographic situation, we're so close to Europe, we're so close to the Middle East. That means we're within that 4 or 5 hour range that really gives us a very broad audience. I know that it'll take some time, and that a lot of countries are focusing on domestic tourism just like us. We kind of expect that international travel will start, hopefully a little bit moderately in Q3, but that's predominantly business travel. People, will do as much as they can virtually, but eventually, there are certain things you can only do on site, and then hopefully towards Q4 that we see a little bit of movement on the leisure side. So that's our outlook. I mean, right now everybody's waiting for announcements from airlines that's starting to operate again. What destinations are they flying? We're talking to our partners that were giving airlift to Azerbaijan before. Everybody wants to start again. Obviously, it will in the beginning be a reduced schedule, but we just need to get connected again.
Yes, I think it is important to take the positive side of it. Obviously, there is a million of people that is not longer here, but it also has been playing an influential role in uniting people, in putting the community, the world as a community, and all together fighting for the same rights, which at the end of the day is health, and without health, not even money or anything will work out. So the positive side of it is, as you said, people will still traveling as soon as the airports and the borders open up. The whole situation will progressively get back to. I think it will never be as it used to be. We will kind of experience a new era for business and for Pleasure. So, sir, you mentioned that Azerbaijan Hotel Association represent the hotels in trade shows. Are you planning to assist to any events, trade shows within the next 6 months or year, max? Where are you planning to go as a CEO of Absheron Group of Hotel as well as the president of Azerbaijan Hotel Association, sir?
As we've seen, a lot of things have moved virtually. I mean, normally, these days we'd be, in Dubai at the ATM. I mean, it moved from April to May.
Arabian travel market. I've been there many times. I used to live in the Middle East.
Very good.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be something that will take some time. For those international fairs to really, kick off again. I think at the moment, as we are adapting to a new way of how do we do business, I mean, is interesting, to work a lot from home, to not be able to see people, especially in our industry. I mean, I'm used to be surrounded by people 24/7, and now you talk to your computer basically. But at the end, you've also seen that there are a lot of things possible that if under normal circumstances you would have suggested them, people would have said, look, that's not going to work. And funny enough, you can make a lot of things work. So I have to be honest, immediately when it comes to business, I don't have any plans. Obviously, it depends on if a trade fair becomes available. We want to be represented and want to make sure that we present Azerbaijan and what we have to offer. And our hope is that we're getting to a stage that we can travel again as well, and promote our beautiful country.
Fantastic. So, finally, would you like to send a message to the European and international hospitality MICE business community, but also to those young professionals entering the hospitality industry? You, as a visionary, as a leader, and as a professional within this industry, please, sir, feel free to send a message to the MICE community as well as to the young professionals entering the hospitality industry, please.
I start with the young professionals first. At the end, I talk a lot about Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is a young destination when it comes to our industry. I think it's one of the industries that has the greatest potential of growth. I think here, everybody who joins our industry has the opportunity to become part of the developing of something extremely special. It gives you the opportunity to literally work everywhere, and then if people want to have an example, I'd say look at what I've done. And you can do that either by really traveling and living in those countries, exploring those cultures, or simply by working in a hotel, because we're inviting customers and travelers from all over the world. And with every trip, with every customer that we meet, we get the experience of that people, that culture, and I think it's fascinating. The other thing that I really like is that it's not a dull industry. There is not a dull moment. Every day is different. You don't really know what's going to happen the next day because people are different, and that's the business that we're in. So I can only endorse the industry and ask everyone that really wants to do something exciting, wants to take care of people, it's the industry to join. The message to the international community, business community, MICE community, I have a very simple answer. I quote the motto that Azerbaijan has as our brand: take another look. And what it means is,
I like that motto. Take another look.
Take another look. Exactly. That's the the motto, that's the brand that was developed simply for people to say, have a look at what Azerbaijan has to offer. There are so many authentic, unique stories that still have to be unraveled, that have to be discovered. And basically, we're inviting people to look at our rich culture, the ancient heritage, amazing nature, and warm hospitality. So basically, yeah. I can tell you as much as I want, but people should come, and once they're here, they'll explore and they'll see more and more, and they want to dive deeper and deeper and make more experience, become curious to learn what we all have to offer.
Fantastic. So, Mr. Martin Kleinmann, it is really a pleasure for me to have this opportunity. And I would like to ask you if you would like to add anything else, any topic that we have not covered, Mr. Kleinmann.
I think you've covered everything. I mean, you know so much about the country, about what's going on. So. Congratulations.
The important thing is that the readers and the international audience not only place Azerbaijan on the map, but as you said, go and have a look. It offers high quality lifestyle products and services, amazing management skills, and beautiful destinations. So thank you very much for your time, and hope to see you in Azerbaijan soon to have a look.
It's an open invitation to you, Irene. I really hope that you'll make it here. You know, it's great talking about it, and I can go on forever, but there is nothing better
like experiencing it
and experiencing it yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Kleinmann, and hope to see you very soon.
Thank you so much, Irene.
Ciao.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Ciao. Bye-bye. Stay safe.
You too, sir.
Thank you.